All right, we'll start here in a second. Hey guys, 1 second. What up, Bryce? What's going on, Gianna? I'm happy to be back. The move's been rough. My stuff still isn't here. Yeah, it's been tough. All right, 1 second.
A new flash flood warning has been issued.
Okay. What's going on? $16 people on my TikTok stream, huh? Alrighty. Make sure everything's good. There we go. There's lightning outside. You might see it. What's going on, NTX? Hey, did the Hurricane Hunters get out here? I think they did. There they are. All right. Holy crap. What is that one doing? Can you guys hear the thunder? It is thunder and lightning outside here. Let me turn down my music a little bit. All right, let's take a look at these Hurricane Hunters. Let's go back to this one. Look at that. That's some fresh data. Look at that. Let's see. Let's get in here. 999 millibars. 9.4, 99.3. 102. All right, so this is probably our steepest pressure right in here. 105. 99.8. 99.7. 997 is the lowest I can find. What do they have the storm at right now? 998. Why? There's a 997 in there. Yeah, this thing's gonna be a hurricane very soon. All right, I'll get started in answering questions and stuff in a second. Let me just go over what's going on. All right, we got a 99. So the hurricane hunters are starting to make some flights into this storm now, which is what we were just looking at. They did get a 997 millibar central pressure. Not a defined eye right now, but let's look across. Let's look at our water vapors. I want to look at a couple different things with you guys real quick just to see what's going on with the storm before we get started here. Let's do this. Nice looking storm. So this is what this is a really nice looking look. You see all these kind of frilly things coming out here. This is a very healthy storm right now. You see all those little lines coming out of the storm. That's that high pressure of expanding up and out and letting all those clouds hit the top of the troposphere. So the winds are coming up through the center, and then they're expanding and pushing up into the upper atmosphere, and then pushing out the top of the storm. When you see this very kind of, I don't even know what you would call this like nice flow like this out of a hurricane, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You can see that. That means there's very little shear, very little wind shear interacting with the storm. The only thing holding this thing from rapid intensification at this very moment is the warmest waters are right ahead of it. Waters get really nice like right there. But this thing is breathing. This thing is breathing really, really nicely. There's like zero. There's like negative shear here. Anticyclonic flow. Thank you. Build a dog. It's on the tip of my tongue. But it's nice. It's really, really nice looking. So that is healthy. You can really see this. Yeah. You can see it on all of these. There's a little bit of dry air, I think, up to the northwest here as well. Tiny bit of dry up here to the northwest, which is why you're not seeing it on that northwestern sector. But again, we were looking at this earlier. We were taking a look at if we did take a look, let's go to the upper level. There's a little bit of dry air out here that's going to want to interact with this. But again, the low shear environment and the temperature of the waters is likely going to fight against that dry air. And the dry air means nothing as soon as this thing gets closed off. And it's getting pretty closed off now, as you can say. A hurricane, a cyclone that is very tight, closed off, it'll plow right through dry air. Dry air really affects weak systems because it keeps them from strengthening if that dry air can get in to the system before it really closes off. But this thing's going to close off. I think it's going to barrel right through this dry air and not really care. It's not going to pay attention. They do have this getting up to a Cat 3 or Cat 4 now. I'm still putting my money on a Cat 5. Jeez, lightning here. I don't know if you guys see it. I still have this thing getting up to a Cat 5. Taking a quick look, and again, I'm going to get to everyone's questions here in just a second. Marissa, NTX, I appreciate you guys. Let me just look at a couple more things before we get started. Let's go back to current storms. Latest. Okay. Oh, okay. So we saw a lot of these. Well, actually, we saw a lot of these heading farther west. They've come back east. Carolina, though, we really got to be careful about this here. Still a lot of these. I think this is our hurricane model guidance. And that's our GFS ensembles, our hurricane guidance. Hurricane models do better with strength than track, though. And then our GPS tracks are a little bit farther out east. So GFS ensembles, a little bit worrisome for the Carolina coast, Virginia, Maryland area, but still looking pretty good overall. Like this thing's going to stay a fish storm. Yeah, here we go. Good amount of models, including some hurricane models. taking this thing up to a Cat 4 now. Very interesting. Very interesting. I will say, and sorry guys, I'm processing stuff right now. I did get, weather-wise, got a little bit of an update. Oh crap, you know what I forgot to do, guys? Hold up, give me 1 second. I told you guys I would have Weather Bell tonight. Oh, don't want to put that there. I told you guys I would have Weather Bell tonight, so hold up, give me a second. Let me put this back up. There we go. Hold up. Oh, now I gotta close this one off. So let me finish getting that. Hold up. Because we're going to look at some teleconnections tonight. There we go. Okay. Hold up. Give me 1 second, guys. I was in the middle of getting... Sadie. I'm getting a soundboard so I can pop that off. Okay, I was in the middle of finishing my Weather Bell subscription, reactivating my Weather Bell subscription, and I got sidetracked. So let me do this here. One second, guys. Un momento. There we go. Okay. Because I do want to go over some winter, look at some of these teleconnections ahead for winter. Make sure you guys can't see my screen while I'm flashing all of my card information. And my address. All right. 1 second, guys. You're in Kentucky. I think you're good. We're going to talk about that, though. Almost done, chat. Almost done, chat. What state do I live in now? That's right. I've lived in too many... shoot. Yeah, I got to do business. I got to do dang business license so I can stream it. It's expensive. You guys are expensive, chat. Killing me. All right. Select. All right. What did it go through? No. Okay. I think it went through. I think we're back. I haven't used Weather Bell since like winter though. Give me a second. Okay. We're gonna go over this. All right. Sorry, I had to make sure I had that. I told you guys I was gonna have that. So, okay, Weather Bell. Now let me go into maps. That's right. I gotta remember how to use everything. Where's my teleconnections? Oh, beautiful. I really missed this. Oh, they changed some things. Oh, Arctic EPO, NAO. Okay. All right, well, we'll go over that in a little bit, but I do have it now. I'll show you guys. All the teleconnections. Euro weeklies. Euro deterministic. Let's see here. Oh, staying a nice little negative NAO for a while. We've got our PNA. EPO, AO. We'll go, this is all very important. Euro weeklies. Oh, this is beautiful. This is new. All right, anyways, we're going to get to that in a little bit, but let's talk storms. Let's talk hurricane. A tropical storm, very soon to be heard. This is probably gonna be a hurricane in a couple hours, if it's not already. All right. Is it hitting New York? Probably not. Not out of the question, but probably not. Pearly, I appreciate you. What's up, Ray J? Nobody knows the path of this storm. Well, we know the general path. Listen, it stayed a little bit farther south than they thought. I actually like the long wave infrared a little bit better. Stayed a little bit farther south than they thought, but it's been going the way that they thought. I mean, it's the original cone took it a little bit farther north like this, but it stayed weaker for longer. It is starting to gain some strength now, and again, the quicker this thing gains strength, the quicker it turns up to the north. Really quickly, I do want to talk about the severe thunderstorms we have going on right now. Sorry, let me fix this source. I don't know why it's not showing you weather-wise. But we're going to fix that right now. There we go. So we do have 6-mile-per-hour radar indicated wind gusts and 1.5-inch radar indicated hail up here in northwestern Minnesota. This is moving down to the southeast at it looks like 30 miles per hour, maybe. I don't know. Slow, 15. I was really off there. All right, been a while. Wiley, Euclid, Red Lake Falls. Not too much to worry about. A little bit of rotation in here, but I'm not overly concerned about this. Yeah, it's not looking too well put together. We've got another severe thunderstorm warning down here in eastern Colorado. 60-mile-per-hour gusts, inch hail, classic. Not much going on. Hey, we've got differential reflectivity radar on here. Did we always have that on WeatherWise? Pretty cool. This is going to help us with figuring out where the exact location of these updrafts and the storms are. Like right there. This area right here has some good updraft potential. Whereas if I were to look here, I'd say, hey, you probably have the strongest updrafts in here. But, this right here on the differential reflectivity is where we're seeing those water droplets being thrown above the freezing line. So this is where you could see the cell develop a little bit stronger over the next few hours, right in that little sector there. So differential reflectivity is pretty cool. I didn't either WeatherWise didn't have it or I just got it with the new update. I'm not sure. Yeah. It updated today. I think that came with the update. This right here is WeatherWise. I use WeatherWise Radar Omega, and I use Pivotal Weather, Tropical Tidbits, and WeatherBell now. I pretty much use any site. WeatherWise and Radar Omega are the ones I use for satellite and radar. Yeah. Modeling is the other ones. South Texas going to get some rain tomorrow. Let's take a look. That's pretty easy to figure out. Let's go into multi-day. Let's see our rainfall over the next 72 hours. Tiny bit in southeastern Texas. All this green you see here is like 1/10 of an inch. The blue's not much, maybe 1/2 inch, 1/8 of an inch. So not much. The real winners over the next 48 hours are Duluth down to Minneapolis, out to Rochester, Minnesota, over to just north of Madison, and then most of central northern Wisconsin. That's not a ton of rainfall, but it's a decent amount. And then right up here in the Pacific Northwest. Look at that. Heavy rainfall in the next 48 hours. We could see locally, I'd say 7-8 inches. Flash flooding, big concern up here with this over the next 48 hours. Will something hit Minnesota? We do have a little bit of a watch tomorrow for Minnesota. Here you go. Minneapolis, St. Paul, right on the border of this slight risk. So I'll show you the modeling real quick. We'll look at the latest HRRR on this. Here's tomorrow. This is interesting. 16th. This is really, this looks like it's not coming in until Saturday. Look at that. Look at that. The HRRR is showing this at Saturday at 8 a.m. Morning time. Very interesting. What's the NAM 3K showing for this? Let's take a look. NAM 3K shows some okay thunderstorms rolling through Minneapolis, St. Paul, St. Cloud, down to Rochester region at around 6-7 tomorrow, 6-7 p.m. And then that monstrous explosion of convection there through the morning hours of Saturday, maybe 4 to 8 a.m. But they both see that. So going back to weather-wise, let's look at our day 3. This is probably day 3. This is probably going to be updated. It's such an early storm. I think they're counting it as Friday right now. But this is going to be upgraded to a slight likely as well. So maybe 2 slight chances for Minneapolis, St. Paul, eastern Minnesota, southeastern Minnesota for severe weather over the next 2 days. Let's see. All right, let me get back. Let me get back to my satellite. What's going on back here? Oh, this is what I wanted to show you guys. Anyone see the GFS today? Did anyone see this? Oh, did anyone see this? Let me actually switch regions. Let's go into Western Atlantic. Did anyone see? Okay, there's Erin, right, on the GFS going out to the open ocean. Look right behind it. Did anyone see that? Did anyone see the Cat 2, the major hurricane, Cat 3 hurricane making landfall in Savannah, Georgia? Don't worry, this is La La Land. If you're living in Savannah, Georgia, I wouldn't worry at all right now. But this thing skirts the Florida coast as a Cat 4, Cat 5, and then makes landfall as a Cat 3 in Savannah on the latest GFS. Way too far out. We're talking over 250 hours out. Although the storm developing 170 to 180 hours out on the GFS and hurricane season. GFS does good in the subtropics, so pretty believable here. Let me look at the Euro 12Z from today. The Euro does have a low spinning through. There it is. The Euro doesn't see it developing, but it does have a low trying to develop. The GFS always sees storms before the European does, though, so that's not surprising. I'm going to go back to this. Wow, look at the icon bringing this thing in. Still very close to Florida as a Cat. Probably a Cat 5 if you're seeing at 922. Wow, this is the latest run of the icon. I don't know what the icon's doing, but this is getting close to historic levels. That's the latest icon, 914 millibars. I don't think that's gonna. Well, I don't know. The environment is so nice out ahead of the storm. It could happen. The icon still brings us in really close to the Carolinas as well. And look what the icon does as well. The icon agrees with the GFS. Here's our second storm. Just based on the look of this, there's probably not. You've got what looks to be maybe a front pushing through here. Out ahead of this, you'd likely have a high pressure. So this I would expect to develop as well. So the icon and GFS are two globals that do agree, at least within under 200 hours of another storm developing right here. So the Euro's bad at picking up hurricanes that far out, but yeah, that's something we need to watch out for. And I'm assuming there's not really much vorticity out behind this storm, but there is a lot of convection out here. Let me go back. Sorry, let me switch over. Hoping it hits Atlantic provinces in Canada as a tropical storm. Well, it's possible. Assuming the second hurricane develops, do you think it'll hit Florida? The second one would probably have a better chance of going farther west, yeah. But, I mean, I can't talk about the path of a cyclone that's not even developed. That we don't even know if it's going to develop or not. When will it hit Nassau? Planning to go next week? Well, look, right now, it's expected to be off just to the east of the Bahamas. Let's see, 8/19, yeah, Tuesday night. We're thinking Tuesday night right here. So by Wednesday, hopefully it'll be out of the Bahamas hair as long as it doesn't take this kind of southerly track. Has been showing something similar for days, actually. Yeah. Icon pulled Erin east. East or west? I thought Icon pulled Erin west. Let me look. It's pretty far west, the latest Icon still. This is the latest Icon run. What are the dates of the second storm if it develops? More east than it showed before? Kinda, yeah. I mean, a tiny bit. Yeah, you can see there, and then you can see here. A little bit. Not much, though. About there to there, yeah. A little bit east, you're right. Yeah, second storm, if we were to see it develop, we could see tropical cyclogenesis as early as August 22nd. 8 days, maybe a week out. If the Icon and GFS are really on to something, we could see another storm forming in about a week. And if this one did form here, it would have a lot more potential of having impacts on the states, just because Erin was a little bit farther up to the north. So it's going to, a lot of these storms take this path. It has to do with our high pressure up here. It has to do with the fact that we're on a rotating planet. And this is the way our storms travel. And then once you get up into the mid latitudes, it's kind of the opposite. We have storms coming in like this. But if we did see this develop down here, we would have a better chance. Now, it all depends. We're not going to get any major troughing or fronts far down south like we would in fall and winter. So really, it's only a matter of time before this thing steers north, likely. But if this does develop a little bit farther to the south than Erin did, eventually it's going to try to make its way up into the Gulf or potentially into the southeastern U.S. Boom, boom. One second, guys. I live in Bermuda. What's your take on closest approach? I'm sitting in a dark house by myself with thunder and lightning outside. Kind of creepy, guys. It could get close. Listen, it could get close. You would expect some weakening up here. Expect some shear interaction up here. I mean, this is going to be gone, but we're going to have another front behind it. Listen, a direct hit is still on the table for Bermuda. I think it's gonna slide off to your west. Obviously, most models show it sliding off to your west, but we can't count out a direct hit for Bermuda. There's some models bringing it, pretty far out east as well. I don't think it's gonna go. I think it's gonna go a little bit farther west than expected, if anything, though. DJ, what's up? Yeah, Ferry. At one point it had it and basically making landfall in eastern North Carolina, the Icon. Tuss was popping. Will it hit Georgia for high school football? I don't think so. Well, the second one, the GFS and Icon have going right into Georgia. Very unlikely though. It's too far out. We got to wait and see how the models develop. Angela, Allen, I appreciate you guys. Will it affect New York City? It's possible, but it's too far out to tell you right now. We got to wait a little bit longer. You're flying to North Carolina the 21st. You should be fine. The only area that may see any impacts are like very far coastal, I think, North Carolina, if it does take like an Icon type track. Yeah, Orlando will be fine. Orlando's not going to see anything from this. I mean, I don't want to say the storm is still very far out. I've seen tracks shift drastically in this time frame. I'd say there's a 90% chance. I would say there's a, you see that lightning outside? I'd say there's like a 90% chance that this thing does not impact the States. Other than some, high surf and beach erosion. But there are model runs that do bring it into the Southeast, that do bring it into the States. So we can't count it out right now. And then we have another storm that we may have to worry about behind it. If it stays far enough out, I don't think Florida's going to feel the outer bands. South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, potentially, depending on the track it takes. Puerto Rico could definitely get some bad outer bands from this. Found out how to stream on TikTok on my Mac, but it just did a quick live. It was so laggy. Yeah, how new's your MacBook? I got a new MacBook recently, but even with that, it's not that great. If it does hit OBX, you could get some big outer bands in this if it gets close enough to in OBX, if it gets close enough to the Carolina coast. I've been waiting for you to upload. Yeah, I'm back uploading every day. Say the hurricane hits Virginia, what would be the intensity? Listen, if this hurricane were to make landfall in Virginia, well, it wouldn't make it'd be very hard for this storm to make landfall in Virginia. It would make landfall in Carolinas and then move up through Virginia. The way, if this storm made landfall, there's models that do bring it like up like this, but it would probably make landfall if this is a big if scenario in North Carolina and then move up into Virginia. It's not gonna just suddenly curve to make landfall in Virginia. You could get Cat 1, Cat 2 type winds in Virginia if this thing were to take a far, far westerly track, which is not very likely right now, though. Miami, I don't expect major impacts to Miami. Again, I've seen crazier things happen. I always say, guys, when you see that, this is where the cone of uncertainty gets large. This is where they put the big balloon on it. This is where they don't have confidence. They have confidence up to here. You wouldn't expect it to make a sharp left turn. There's nothing really that's going to be forcing that from the north. Between our seasonal Bermuda high and the Coriolis effect, these things are always going to just begin moving up into the north and then eventually the northeast. It's when they turn that affects where it makes landfall. But yeah, storms in the Gulf have a lot more likely to make kind of weird directional changes. Out here, though, they're affected by this massive high, typically. Especially once they strengthen it. They're affected by the Bermuda high. Triple S, I appreciate that. I've missed doing them. You're in Turks and Caicos? Yeah, where's Turks and Caicos? Like right over here, right? I've been there and I can't remember where it is. No, it's over here. God, I'm so bad. I've literally been there. I can't remember where it is. There it is. Yeah, okay, I was there. I would pay close attention if I was in the Turks. If this takes a southern track, you could see some big effects there. Miami's looking really, really safe right now. There's no reason to panic right now in Miami. It's looking very safe. I think with what's going on back here, all this convection and our icon and GFS picking up another storm behind Erin, farther to the south, I think that's actually something I'm paying attention to a little bit more than this one. Although we could get a monster Cat 5 out of this thing. Big Cat 5 that puts huge swells into the southeastern coast. Yeah, it's us. That's what I'm looking at. Looks like they've been making a U-turn and connect it. Wait, what? Do you think it's going to hit New Jersey? It's possible, but not very likely right now. This is too far out. Virginia Beach cannot handle a Cat 5. If it did affect Virginia, it likely wouldn't be that strong as it got up there. Water temperature's cool as it moves to the north. Do I think Erin could become a Cat 5? I think Erin will become a Cat 5. I think this will be a Category 5 hurricane, but I don't think it's going to make landfall. I still think I still think it's going to take a far... Look at that lightning outside. I still think it's going to take a farther western track than people expect, but I don't think it's going to make landfall. I think it's going to... Could get close, but... Yeah, the waters are warm. The problem is, as these storms move up to the north, a couple things happen. They start to speed up, and when they speed up, their structure doesn't hold together as good. Even though the waters are warm up there, they're not 95 degrees, like 90 degrees like some of the waters down here can be. And typically, we do have storm systems that move west to east across the states, and the farther they get north, the more likely they are to interact with wind shear. So there's multiple things that weaken a storm after it gets typically above this line. From water temperature, shear, and just the speed at which the storm is moving. Once hurricanes really pick up speed, which is caused by the Coriolis effect, their structure doesn't want to hold together very well, which weakens the storms. You have to remember, this is how the Coriolis effect works. The best way to show you this is actually on a ball. So let's go like this. Can I go into satellite? Hold up. I'll show you guys. Did it take... Why did it take me out of globe mode? Someone who's good at weatherwise, remind me how to put this into globe mode. Hold up. Why did it do that to me? Hold up, guys. Map settings. Here we go. Globe projection. Okay. Here's how the Coriolis effect works. Oh, oops. Let me close this out. Here's how the Coriolis effect works. Someone who is here, right? Someone who's up here. It takes the same amount of time. Well, this isn't exactly just a Coriolis effect. For someone up here to do a full rotation. That made a really nice circle. How is it making a circle like that? What am I doing? Okay. Someone making this rotation, right? This is a full 24 hours. That is a lot shorter distance than someone down here. 24 hours down here is literally... You're going around the entire globe at its widest point. So, weather moves a lot quicker. Storms, energy moves a lot faster near the equator than it does. Upper level winds move a lot faster at the equator than they do up at the poles. There's a big difference. So what happens is, as these storms get farther to the north, they begin to outpace the rotation of the Earth. And they rocket. They always pick up speed. That's why you always see these low pressure systems start to move to the north and then they go whoop. Right? They're moving at like 22 miles per hour and then they're moving at like 80. So that's another issue. That makes it difficult for storms to make landfall up here as a, as a major hurricane because they're beginning to lose their structure. They stretch as they pick up in speed. Yeah, it's drawing the circle for me. Look, I go to draw a circle and then look, it draws this. Isn't that the weirdest thing? It just draws a circle for me. I don't know what's going on there, guys. Who agrees with me that Erin will hit Florida or Georgia? We can do a poll. You want to do a poll? Erin will hit DC? I don't think so. Long Island is not a major threat, no. Here, we'll run a poll. Let me see if I can run a poll on both sides. Give me a second. Ready? Let's do poll. 1 second. No, I don't want to do quick poll. I want to do custom. There we go. There we go. Create new. Well, we'll just say make landfall. We'll say will Erin make landfall in the States? Okay? That's all we're going to do. And we're going to do a yes and no. All right. There you go. Can I do a poll on this? Let's see. The poll's up over on Ticketed Talk. Oh, I can't do it on this side. Dang it. No shot? Yeah. Let's see how our poll's doing. Can I see live results? Oh my gosh, it's like tied. Wow, guys. Out to sea. Oh, I thought it said out to seal. Out to sea. Yeah, PA should be good. Exactly. Will depend on how quick it strengthens, Liam. Why can't mods vote? Can mods not vote? All right, we're 11 yeses, 8 nos. Yes is the storm making landfall in the States. No is the storm will not. Listen, it technically right now where it's at could make landfall anywhere from Florida to Maine. Okay, it's far enough out anything's on the board. A likelihood it makes landfall though, not. Most models keep this thing out at sea. Some bring it close to the States. 1 or 2 models have it making landfall in the Carolinas. The majority of our model runs keep this thing out to sea. Okay, Jasmine votes no. Tufts, what do you vote? You vote yes? All right, let's see. I'm stopping the poll in 15 seconds. Oh my gosh. We're 12 yeses, 10 nos. Okay. $12 yeses, 11 nos. Okay, I gotta stop it. Okay, there was a couple other people who put it pretty much tied based on what people were telling me in the chat. Wow. Okay. I'm surprised a lot of people think it's gonna make landfall. What are these? Yeah, here let's just go to Conus. This was actually an upper level low, just moved off the coast. So this is some convection out ahead of it. Not much going on out here. This is we have another front up here. We have a pretty big low pressure system moving into the Pacific Northwest. This front moving off the East Coast. Surface low moving through the that's surface low moving through the upper Midwest right now. So kind of a surface low down here as well. Whoa, Yali, welcome to the stream. Much appreciated, Yali. Thank you, Yali. Is there an atmospheric river in the Pacific Northwest? Yeah, you guys want to talk about that? We are about to see that, I think. Not really an atmospheric river, but what you could call a bomb cyclone. Here we go. Look at this. Now, could this turn into an atmospheric river? I don't think so. We need to go to the models to look at this. This is a big upper level low, though. I mean, this is actually going to bring snow, I think, into Canada. We were looking at that yesterday. Let's take a look at that real quick. I think that's going to bring snow into Canada. Close to the States as well. If we were to take a look, outlooks. Let's go to Pivotal. Okay. Look at this. Well, I don't usually like using the GFS for snow, but whatever. It's early season. Snowfall. We'll just do whatever. We'll do 10-1. It's fine. Look at that. The first sign of snow returning. Very close to the States. A little bit of snowfall. Precipitation-wise, we're going to see a lot of precipitation out here. Let's look at our total quantitative precipitation. There's going to be more precipitation than this. I mean, this is a lot that is showing up here, but there's going to be more. You guys notice anything that's happening in the bottom right-hand corner of the GFS model? Anyone notice what's happening at the bottom right-hand corner of the GFS model? That's hilarious. Those are what's the storm after Erin, guys? I should know this, sorry. Fernand. This is Erin. This is Erin's precipitation. This is Fernand precipitation. This is what the GFS thinks is the hurricane that's going to move into Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. Don't worry about it right now. It's too far out. But it's interesting to see how it shows the rainfall totals as those storms move through, isn't it? They coming. Yeah. I do think, though, let's go to the European real quick. Let me look at the total quantitative precipitation on this. I do think we're going to get some really good totals up here in the Northwest. Pacific Northwest specifically. Here we go. Let me look at the NAM 3K. Let's see. Why is this not showing me precipitation totals? It's bothering me. I do think 7, 8, maybe even 9 inches locally up here over the next 48 hours is possible. Let's see, does the NAM see any snowfall up here, guys? You think we get snowfall this early in the season? Not yet. Wait till typically the U.S. does see some snow that start to fall in the higher elevations right as we get into September. But so another couple of weeks, we'll probably get some snowfall. First snowfall of the year in the States. Should I just leave this frame right here, guys, for when people get in the stream so I can just fearmonger them? All right, someone's about to get in the stream, and this is gonna be for everyone who's in the stream. Ready? Just play along with it. Someone's about to get in the stream. Let's just pretend that this is Erin. Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh! I cannot believe the new model run for Erin takes it directly into Savannah, Georgia, as a major hurricane. Can you guys believe that? Oh my God, it's going to slam into Georgia as a Cat 5. That's the latest model run. They all agree. Okay. About 15 people joined and we're super confused. Guys, that's not Erin. This is the storm after Erin that the GFS and Icon see. Too far out. We don't even know if this thing's gonna become a cyclone yet. If it does, though, it will likely be more of a threat to the U.S. than Erin, I think. It'll likely take a farther southerly and westerly track, putting us on watch a little bit more than Erin. Still, Erin is something to watch. Like I said, there's a couple models that do want to bring it a little close for comfort to the States. That scenario has to be terrified for sure. Yeah, we don't want that. We're cooked. Not yet. You're in Camden County, Georgia? Yeah, you wouldn't want that scenario. Luckily for you, the odds of that happening are like less than 1%. The models will never see it perfectly that far out. It's going to be wrong. Can you tell where the storm is on the latest GFS run? Where the new GFS is taking it? Yeah, the GFS has consistently been taking... This is the latest GFS run. The GFS has consistently been taking Erin... Wait, we don't have the 00Z for the GFS? Oh, we do. The GFS has consistently been taking Erin farther out to sea. Oh, this is the latest GFS loading. Let's do this, guys. We can compare GFS model runs. I was doing this earlier, and the GFS has actually trended west. Watch. Let's see if it had a shift back east. This is a really interesting way to look at this. So let's go to frame 84. And then let's go to latest runs, model trend. Okay. And let's look at the different trends. Okay, so here we go. Let's look at the last few model runs. 1, 2, 3. Okay, do you guys tell me what's happening with this storm? This is the last about 6 runs of the GFS. Chat, tell me what's happening with the GFS. Ready? And here we go. Anyone notice that? Chat, what's going on? I just want to make sure you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. Ready? And here we go. These are all at the same exact time. So what I'm showing you right here is the GFS run at the same exact time over the last 6 to 7 runs. Do you guys see what's happening? No, it is not the zigzag. No. Come on, guys. This is a model trend. Where's the storm going? This is all at the same exact time. This is all at the same exact time. I want you guys to look up here. Okay. You see up here, the time is not changing. Okay, the time is not changing. The time is staying the same, but where's the storm? Yes, moving west. This is, you see the time's not changing. This is just different model runs. This is the GFS run 6 runs ago. Then a newer run, and 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 a newer run. You see how it moves west? Let's look at the first frame here. We're out here. We're north of Puerto Rico. All right, here we go. First frame, we're 23, almost 20, we'll say 23 north, 66 west. Where are we in our last one? 23 north, almost 70 west. This went from 63 west, from here, right here where I'm circling, to here. So the GFS has trended, I would say probably 600 miles to the west. That's why I'm saying I am still favoring a farther westerly track, but even with that, I think it will still just stay off the coast. But I've seen multiple models doing this slight shift west. This is, if you want to look at all the trends on the GFS, here you go. You see it didn't know, and then lately it's been, you can go all the way back here. Look at the trend west. Look at it. west, 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 west. So this is the latest run right here. This is the latest run right here. So let's go back here. GFS, tropical, southwest. Actually, let's go to West Atlantic. So this is the latest run from the GFS. A little bit farther west than it was. But again, once it hits this, once it gets real strong, it's going to start to really feel that tug from our high pressure up here to the northeast. So I still think we're looking pretty good. But there is a trend west, at least on a couple models. Only 600 miles. I was taking an estimate on that. I appreciate the follows, guys. Thank you. Yeah. Yep, Kyle. And moving faster. Yes. Yeah, that's true. A little bit faster of a pace. Yeah. Will it hit Virginia? It could affect Virginia. Too far out to tell. Nothing to worry about right now. I'd keep your eye on it. I don't think it will affect Virginia, but there's a small possibility it does. So just keep updated. Been following me since January 6, 2025. Hey, that's quite a long time. It's over 8 months now. I only started streaming, I want to say September of last year. I haven't been streaming. I created my TikTok channel. I had 0 followers. I created my TikTok and then all my social medias, YouTube, Instagram, under a year ago. I think 11 months ago. Yeah. You've been following since 1991. I don't know how that's possible, but I appreciate that. Been here since the beginning. That's true. That's true, Lilo. That's true. Let's go. What's the latest a hurricane can form? We've had landfalling tropical systems, I want to say, in every single month of the year except for February. Now, we've had like depressions with landfall in January or in like March and stuff. But when's the latest you can get like a decent hurricane? When's the latest you could get like just a tropical cyclone that's actually a threat? Typically November. We've had strong landfalling hurricanes as late as like mid-November still. Mid to late November. Once you get into December, things tend to cool down. Remember, hurricane season is until December 1st. So you're still in hurricane season in November. And sometimes you do get a couple lingering storms into December. About 4 months, tough. So that's pretty good. Is there a small possibility it isn't tugged to the northeast? Yeah, and like we've been talking about, man, all these models, guys, see this thing becoming so strong. Here's what I'm excited about on this model run, on this latest GFS model run. I want to see what's happening with the storm back there, right? Let's actually push out. Let's see what's going on back here. There it is. Look at these 2 low pressure systems. 1 and 2 on the GFS. This is what we call the MDR, Main Development Region, off the west coast of Africa. This is where we get mid to late hurricane season. We get storms firing up off here. So I'm excited to see this thing load up and see what the GFS thinks about that, because the GFS is being aggressive on those and thinks we're going to get another system right behind Erin. 2 hurricanes the same place, same time? Not at the same time. Appreciate you, Lila. You're in OBX Sunday till Thursday. I would say this. No matter where this thing goes, rip currents and high swells, large waves are very likely. I would say especially Wednesday and Thursday out there at in the OBX. Outer Banks. Let's see. Could Erin hit South Carolina? It could. The odds are pretty low right now, though, so I wouldn't worry. I can't say like it can't. We have, like I've said, if we want to go into like our runs, you know, you've got some strays out here that want to bring it close to shore. Actually, not too bad there. You've got a couple model runs still out here, bringing it a little bit close to South Carolina. A couple making landfall in North Carolina. So watching that, but overall, it's looking pretty good. Overall, this is looking like it's gonna split the Carolinas and Bermuda, right there, which would be nice. But you have to remember, these models really only have confidence if you look at it. These models have confidence until about here, right? Look how compact all of our model runs are. Look how compact all of our model runs are, and then they turn into spaghetti right here, right? And then you have model runs going here, and you have model runs going here. So this is where things get a little bit questionable. The strength of the storm will determine. If it's stronger, it'll take a farther, I think, northerly route. If it's weaker, farther southerly. But this is where this is a big question mark. That's why you can't say that, okay, yeah, you're fine. The odds favor this thing to stay a fish storm, to stay out to sea. But this is where the model uncertainty starts, right about here. So anything above this is still a little bit of a question mark. So something, you know, tomorrow, these model runs will be a little bit more concise, a little bit farther out. Leo, what's poppin'? Yeah, I wouldn't be in the water out off the South Carolina, North Carolina coast Wednesday, Thursday. I mean, we'll see how far this stays out to offshore, but if it's far enough offshore, you'll probably be okay. But I'm expecting some big rip currents southeastern coast, especially off the coast of the Carolinas and Virginia, as we get into mid to late next week. Landfall in Florida, impacts in Florida are pretty low right now. I'd give it like under a 5% chance. They're like I said, there's models that keep this thing hugging south, but I don't think anything's going to push it farther west. I've been saying this for a few days. If this thing makes landfall, it's going to be somewhere right here. But I still think it's going to. I think it's going to actually take a farther southerly track. If I were to draw a track that I think it's going to do, I think it's going to be like this. I think it's going to get close to the Carolina coast. I think you guys may get some outer bands, strong outer bands, and some beach erosion, some swells, some rip currents. But that's just from what I've been seeing. I could be wrong. That's just from what I've been seeing. Like I said, everything after here is a big question mark. It's really tough to see what the storm wants to do after that. So. North Carolina has a good chance for landfall, like 94% chance. South is low chance. No, I still think any landfall at all is very low chance. I think it getting close to the states is possible. But again, we'll have to see what happens. Let me go back to the GFS run, the new GFS run. I want to see what's happening with this system behind it. I really want to see what it's showing back there. Yeah, it still has that system developing right behind it. Interesting. We don't have the latest Euro 00Z icon. Let me see that one. Yeah, the icon has another potential tropical depression formed by August 22nd. So a week from today. The icon has another tropical system. The icon has another tropical system, potentially tropical storm, tropical depression around here a week from now, heading west. So does the GFS. So that's something interesting. Euros hasn't picked it up yet. The Euro isn't good with long range in the mid latitudes or around the tropics. So On GFS last night, I saw the system behind it. Yeah, we've been going over that. Yeah, the GFS has been showing some pretty crazy things. Not impossible, but yeah, the GFS has been showing. This is what, if people are wondering, if people weren't in here earlier, don't take this too seriously. But the icon sees something similar. The GFS sees like a major hurricane making landfall right there in Georgia, South Carolina. Again, this is La La Land. The odds of this happening are almost 0. Now, the odds of another tropical system forming behind Erin like this, I think is decently high. We've got a lot of convection moving off the MDR out of the MDR right now. So I do think another storm forming after Erin and headed towards the states, probably having a better chance to have an impact on the states. I think it's actually pretty likely. Who it's going to affect, is anyone's guess. You have the GFS thinking you could have multiple storms behind it too, though, which is crazy. The GFS is really going wild here. I mean, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. The GFS just wants to set up a train of storms, of potential tropical cyclones. So does the icon, though. I mean, the icon's going pretty crazy too. So, this is kind of that time of year where the MDR gets active, main development region gets active, and starts spitting out, spinning low pressure systems out towards the west, out towards the states. So things are going to pick up here. We haven't had much upwelling out here. The waters are very warm, by the way. Let's take a look at our ocean analysis. Temperature anomalies, Western Atlantic. Okay, storms feed off of warm water. The warmer the water is, the more moisture it puts up into the atmosphere. The more moisture that is pulled up into the atmosphere, the more latent heat that is released from that moisture. And the more latent heat that is released, the more condensation you get and the stronger the storm gets. It's like an engine that runs itself. This is all the red are waters that are temperatures that are above average. So, I mean, we are above average basically everywhere in the Western Atlantic. We're steaming. I'm interested to see what the actual temperatures are out here. Look at that. 30, 31 degrees Celsius. Baking. Absolutely baking. We're getting close to 90-degree waters out here. Baking. So, plenty of energy out here. That's for sure. Without a question. The MDR is getting active. It was expected to be a enhanced monsoon season out here. Out here in this region off the coast of Western Africa, and it's kind of coming to fruition right now. So with the water temps, Bermuda High is a little bit far off to the east. It was very close to the states earlier on in the season. It's a little bit far out to the east right now, but really right now it's looking like things might ramp up a little bit, yeah. I would say 2 things working against it. There's a little bit of Saharan dust out here, which I noticed earlier. I guess I could... All right, sorry, I'll get back to answering questions. There was a little bit of Saharan dust out. You can see it right there. Let me close this out. A little bit of Saharan dust out here. That can clog up some of these storms stop some of these storms from forming. Other than that, there's a little bit of dry air out here ahead of this storm as well, but there's just so much going on out here. I really don't think that it's going to have too much of an impact on it, especially this time of year with the water temperatures. Prediction: Erin will hit landfall, but will not go directly inland and go back to the ocean. I mean, hey, it's a possibility. 30 degrees Celsius just in the surface on the surface of the ocean, or how far deep? No, that's on the surface. But these storms pull the ocean, the surface water. That's why they create upwelling, because then water that's beneath the surface water has to replace it, and the water lower down is cooler. So all that matters to these hurricanes is the water near the surface. Just curious, if a Cat 5 hits Charleston, what could you expect in Moncks Corner, South Carolina? Where's that? Listen, the odds of a Cat 5 making landfall in Charleston is very, very low. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that. It'd be bad. There's your answer, but I wouldn't worry about that. It's kind of a, you know, the odds of that happening are pretty low right now. What site do you use to track hurricanes? I'm on Radar Omega right now. Pivotal Weather is a good way to look at future models. So Tropical Tidbits is great. Tropical Tidbits gives you everything. This is Tropical Tidbits over here. Let me get back to it. So Tropical Tidbits, I can just click current storms. I'm like, oh, look, okay, let's see what active storms we have. Oh, it's not showing you. That's annoying. You click here, you go to a storm. Okay, I click on Erin. Look, it's showing me the track, all the latest model guidance. Where do the models think it's going to go? Close out of all these. So yeah, it's nice. You can look. You get some really good satellite images. So let's really nice satellite images. This wants to load. We don't need that. There we go. So Tropical Tidbits is pretty nice. It'll have every storm on there, at least once it becomes a depression. Solo, I appreciate that. The storm is giving Hurricane Andrew vibes. Well, I mean, not really. You know, Hurricane Andrew came in like that. Right, like that. That's Hurricane Andrew's path. I don't think it's going to get that far west. I mean, yeah, strong storm heading towards the southeast a little bit, but high pressure over the Atlantic. There's always a high pressure over the Atlantic over summer. Summer through spring. It's a seasonal high. It's our Bermuda high. It's very hard to see on the infrared right now, but our Bermuda high is sitting somewhere right here. That's why we don't have a lot of convection out here over the center of the Atlantic. Yeah, Hurricane Andrew did turn west last minute, but it was still projected to like go in this direction. It did one of these. Hurricane Andrew did one of these. Like one of those. Well, it hit farther south. It did one of these. That's kind of what happened with Charlie. Charlie was headed towards Tampa, and everyone, the Weather Channel, all the news stations, everyone said, evacuate south, evacuate south. So everyone in Tampa went, go south, and then Hurricane Charlie went like this. And made landfall where everyone evacuated to. I don't know if anyone would live through that, but I remember when I was younger, everyone was so mad at like the Weather Channel and NOAA, and everyone was like, what the heck? Like everyone evacuated from Tampa to right here, down here. And then, because Charlie was supposed to make landfall around here. And Charlie comes in and is like, It is horrible. Yeah, 04. I think it was 04 or 05. Yeah. It was horrible. So many people evacuated south, and that's where it made landfall. There's something called land friction with storms, and say you've got a big storm like this, guys. As soon as the outer section of the storm begins to interact with the land, I've explained this on stream before, but you know when you're in a car driving on the highway, and if you get too close to the side, your wheel can kind of start to pull, like the side of the highway. You start to get the bumps, and it pulls your wheel off. The same thing kind of happens with hurricanes. Sometimes you get land friction and a hurricane that's going up like this, well, it'll get that land friction and it'll actually pull it in. And they understand that a little bit better when they do their forecast cones or uncertainty cones, whatever. I'm brain dead right now. But they didn't understand that as much back then. So they were like, it's going like this. No, that thing got some land friction and it went as soon as it happened. So same thing happened with Helene. Helene ended up going a little bit farther east because of some land friction. You want to be learning meteorology for 4 months? It's about all it takes, 4 months. No, I'm just kidding. It's not a bad time, though. I think it's fun to learn. I still listen to lectures every day. Thanks, B. Mods, I'm going to try to get to a meeting this weekend. Hopefully, still haven't heard from my movers. They said they were going to be here tomorrow. I'm just crossing my fingers that it's here tomorrow or Saturday. But I just want to be in my office once we get all together and make a plan. Where is it projected to hit currently? It's expected to stay out over the open ocean. But there are some models that bring it in very close to the Carolinas.
A new severe thunderstorm warning.
I would say if it does make landfall, it would be somewhere on the Carolina coast. The odds of that are still very low, though. So, as I said, I mean, there's model runs. Look, there's model runs that keep it far out here, and there's model runs that bring it very close to the coast like that. As a very strong hurricane. Odds are it stays out to sea. I think we will be watching another system behind it about a week later, taking maybe even a slightly farther southern path in it. So we'll see. Yeah, tough. Wait till winter. Winter forecasting is extremely hard. Snow forecasting is like the hardest thing in the world. Well, yeah. Ice forecasting is the hardest in the world. Ice, because you have to understand what's going on in the lower, mid, and upper atmosphere. Where rain, if it's rain, it's just warm in all those levels of the atmosphere. If it's freezing in all those levels of the atmosphere, it's snow. Ice is the hardest thing in meteorology to forecast. Winter will make you learn a lot. Yeah, snow forecasting is way harder than rain forecasting. Snow forecasting is so hard, but I think ice is the hardest. Although the problem is with snow, it's not hard to tell where snow is going to fall. It's extremely hard to tell. I'm going to release my winter forecast here in a few days. It's extremely hard to tell how much snow is going to fall because you have to forecast the snow ratio. So if it's a 10-to-1 ratio, that means for every 1 inch of rain, 10 inches of snow is going to fall because snow is less dense than rainfall. But if it's a 2-to-1 ratio, that means for every inch of rain, only 2 inches of snow falls. An inch of rain is a lot of rain, guys. So the problem is, if you've got a freezing mid and upper level, right? But then you have a warm pocket near the surface. How much of that is liquid and how much of that is ice and how much of that is snow when it hits the surface? And it completely changes your ratios. And people get mad at, snow forecasts all the time, I think, because they don't understand how ridiculously complicated snow and ice is. It's falling through different levels of warmth and cold, but we're getting better at it. I think I had a pretty good run last year on snow predictions for the most part. Everyone misses every now and then, but I love predicting snow. Will the Outer Banks get hit? Listen, the Outer Banks could feel effects from this storm. Could it make a landfall out there? Yes. The odds of that are low. Just pay attention, though, because this is expected to be a very strong storm, and it could get pretty close to the Carolinas. I love snow because I grew up in Florida. Yeah, thanks, Ian. So mad about the winter. Every storm missed New York and Philly. Yeah. Yeah, and Minneapolis got like 24 inches of snow. They averaged 52. There were some big winners and some big losers. The South got some big snow. They got historic snow. Yeah, I love I love tropics. Honestly, if I were to say the stuff I like forecasting the most, it would probably be winter, and then the tropics, like snow forecasting, hurricanes, and then severe weather. But don't get me wrong, I still like forecasting severe weather. I just love snow and I love hurricane season. Will Puerto Rico get hit? Puerto Rico, regardless if it gets hit or not, is probably going to get some strong outer bands that could bring in some strong winds and a ton of rainfall. So right now, I think Puerto Rico is pretty safe from a direct landfall, but you could have a Cat 4, Cat 5 hurricane just to your north. Yeah, it's going to throw you for a loop, Tufts. No, North Carolina just got here. Did you say North Carolina will likely be hit? North Carolina, I think, will likely feel impacts along the coast in terms of beach erosion, very large swells, waves, and some strong rip currents. Maybe you get some outer bands as well out here from the storm. That's what's most likely to happen. Could it make a landfall in the Carolinas? Yes. The odds of that are pretty low. I'd put that under 10% right now. When is it supposed to hit? Well, we're thinking Tuesday, Wednesday, it's going to be here. Now, the farther north storms get, the more they pick up speed. As I explained earlier, it's the Coriolis effect. It's just what happens. They start to outpace the spin of the Earth. The Earth spins slower the farther north you go, and it spins faster near the equator. So storms move faster. As storms move to the north, they're moving at the speed of the equator. And then they move north to a slower spinning Earth because the circumference is smaller. So then they're outpacing the spin. So this is Tuesday, Wednesday. We could say it takes a westerly track. I think Friday. I mean, no, because this is going to be speeding up here. I think Thursday, Friday. If it does take a westerly track Thursday, Friday, we could see impacts up there near the Carolinas. So hurricanes don't really weaken or feel effects, like they don't get weaker from making landfall on islands like Bermuda and Bahamas. No, not at all. Remember, Hurricane Katrina went like this, okay? It was a tropical storm, and it made landfall right here. The Everglades were so wet that year. There was so much water in the Everglades. It made landfall on the east coast of Florida as a tropical storm, and then it came off the east coast of Florida as a Cat 1. It's still one of those things that meteorologists scratch their heads about today. They're like, did it just strengthen over land? It's because so much of the storm was still over water, and the Everglades had so much water in it that it was still picking up moisture and releasing that heat into the upper levels of the system as it went over the state. So yeah, when it moves over islands, it's still picking up moisture. That's like the only time, though, that they've ever seen a storm strengthen over a state. I remember, because I was living down in South Florida, and I remember Katrina making landfall. We had a couple days off of school. I remember going to bed. It made landfall as a tropical storm. I went to bed. I woke up, and they're like, it's a Cat 1, and it was moving off the coast. And I had a passion for meteorology when I was like 6 years old. And I remember being like, or my dad told me it's a Category 1 now, like moving off the coast. And I was like, Dad, you're an idiot. That's not possible. Hurricanes don't strengthen over land. And he was right. I was wrong. It did. We still need at least another day or two to see where, yes. Another 48 hours. We'll have a much better, this is where our uncertainty begins. That'll be pushed up to here somewhere as we move through the next couple days. We'll have a much better idea of where the impacts could be. I appreciate the follows, guys. Thank you, Cam. All I really know right now about tropics is how hurricanes form. Yeah, it's actually pretty simple process when you look at it. It really is. You've got Well, I'm not going to go into a whole climatology thing right now. Will Turks and Caicos be impacted by this hurricane? They very well could be. So just stay updated if you're going to be down there, especially in the beginning of next week. I don't think you're going to take a direct hit, but you could see some impacts from it, especially outer bands and rainfall. So, yeah, direct hit, I think Turks is looking pretty good. But if we look at the timeline here, 8/17, I believe we're talking Saturday. Yeah, 8/17 Sunday. Oh, that's right, 8/17 Sunday. So Sunday, it's looking like we're probably going to have a storm, a major hurricane off to the northwest of the Turks Monday. That's where we could get some strong outer bands, rainfall, wind gusts, but nothing that should be too damaging to the island. And then by Tuesday, it should be pretty much out of your hair. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for the follow, Millie. This is your favorite song from the playlist? Here, let's just turn up just a small amount. Logging in for tech school. MIT accept it. Let's go. My sister goes to Harvard and she's dating someone who goes to MIT. You know, and I'm just a weather streamer, but whatever. Yeah, she's dating someone who goes to MIT who's like trying to find the cure to cancer, and she's a biomedical. She's getting her master's in biomedical engineering. What nerds. Absolute nerds. Someone go follow Tufts so he can get to 1,600 followers. We love nerds around here. True. You're doing aerospace engineering? Yeah, that's so sick. That's awesome. That's really cool. Hoping to actually get some action in Connecticut. I'm guessing you mean weather action. Bam, bam, bam. All right. Keep it together, Connor. Pretty quiet up there in Connecticut right now. Gonna be like insane stress on. I mean, well, listen, feds. Just pretend like you're in a movie. You know, like it looks so cool when people are at like Ivy Leagues and movies. Just pretend you're in a movie the whole time and you'll have a good time. I want to be a storm chaser and make my own vehicle called the Executor. Listen, I want to be a storm chaser too. If I didn't have kids, if I didn't have a family, I would be a storm chaser. I didn't realize I wanted to be a storm chaser until I already had a family started. And I was like, dang, if I'd have known before, I definitely wouldn't have had a family. But I do think listen, guilty. I like my family, guys. I like my family. Like a lot. So I guess it worked out, but I think in another universe, in an alternate reality, I'm definitely a storm chaser for sure. Probably like most of the other alternate realities, I'm a storm chaser. The Canadian model has a storm after Erin. Does it? Yeah, that'd be 3 globals, 3 out of the 4. And the European model, it does not pick up storms back there. Oh, let's look at the latest GFS. Actually, thanks for reminding me. Thanks for reminding me. Let's I gotta adjust these. I gotta adjust the storm shade / hater blockers. Let's really quickly take a look at, this is important stuff, guys. Let's really quickly take a look at this. Okay. Forecast models, GFS. What are we at? 228. 228. Let's go to the Western Atlantic. Here we go. Latest GFS. Okay, keeps it out to sea. Look at that. Look at that high pressure settling in right here. But there it is. There's our storm. There's our storm right there. Let's go take a look. Tropical Atlantic. There she is. I mean, the GFS sees potential tropical cyclone, tropical cyclogenesis. Maybe every time I say TCG, it just sounds like trading card game. Still sees it right here. So we're talking, this is a little bit later, August 24th, maybe 9 days out. Canadian sees a low. Euro sees the low out here. Again, the icon sees it as well. Here we go, right there. Right there. The Euro, the icon, the Canadian, and the GFS all see this low pressure. Some put it through TCG, some don't. But you're gonna have a favorable environment out ahead of it. If I'm a gambling man, I'm putting next month's mortgage on a tropical system forming out here within the next 10 days. And the month after that. 2 months mortgage. I say if I was a gambling man, if I was a betting man, like I don't gamble all the time. Like, listen, I'm working on it. I gotta get better. All right, I've slowed down a little bit. I can't help it. I've made a lot of money betting on international women's basketball. I don't know why. I hit those bets really good. So I keep doing it. I always say if I was a gambling man. And then I remember. I'm betting on the underdog that it's... Did I just say international women's basketball? Yeah. So I started betting on the WNBA, and I just found that it was more predictable for me. Like when I was making little bets, I don't bet big money, guys. Little money. I can't, But I was doing like little bets, like little 25, 50, 75 here on women's basketball in the States. And I was like, wow, this is really predictable. I don't know. It's so much easier for me to predict than for me to sports bet on than the NBA. Or any other sport. And I was like, and then I was seeing all these international women's basketball games, and I was just like, I don't even know these teams, but I'm just looking at their rankings and whatever. And I started betting on like international women's basketball, and I swear I hit like 10 in a row. Like I went on a crazy streak. I think I've hit like 28 out of the last 35. So listen, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? I don't bet big. I don't do like big bets. I do little ones because it's fun. Sometimes I'll be at the gym on the treadmill and I'll put like $15 on a international women's basketball game. And then I'm like, the running goes by quick. I'll run like miles and I'm watching the game on DraftKings because it'll show you the actual game. And I'm like, boom, the running flies by. How did I get on this tangent? Sorry, we're talking about weather, guys. Start selling your picks on here instead of sound weather. Wait, what? Oh, my picks, you mean my sports pick. Yeah. Rob out. I appreciate you. How did I end up talking about WNBA bets? I don't know. Were you one of the fearmongers saying this was going to hit Florida? No. I've never said it's going to hit Florida. I've said it's possible that it could hit Florida, but it's a very small chance. What did I give it? I think under a 5% chance, under 2% chance. Listen, people who fearmonger, for weather enthusiasts, meteorologists, what would you call it? Weather social media influencers who fearmonger, their careers typically don't last long because people get tired of it. Oh, I did fake fear-mongering earlier. Okay, that was a joke. I did it for like 30 seconds. True. True. Guilty. Scared as hell here in Puerto Rico. No, you're fine. I mean, you're fine. There's so much model confidence in the short term here. Look at the model confidence in the short term. You see how tight these model runs are? This is extreme model confidence. You'll get some outer bands, maybe some heavy rainfall, gusty winds, but nothing to worry about in Puerto Rico. Like, look at this. This is good model consensus. You could see that in our hurricane model guidance too. Oh, sorry, you guys can't see what I'm looking at. There you go. Look at this. You see that? You see the confidence here? Look at the confidence here. If you're down here, not too worried. That's extremely good confidence. As I said earlier, until we get to about here, and then things start to go a little bit haywire right here. But still thinking it's going to move out and stay as a fish storm. Is Georgia going to be fine? Yeah, Georgia should be okay. Yes. Well, yes, it is going kind of more due west right now, but remember, it was going southwest or west southwest for a long time. So it has stopped the southerly trend completely. I think it may be trending a tiny bit north now. Let's see. It's pretty much going due west now. Again, even if it holds the southern portion of this cone, the island should be pretty good. I think this thing's going to get up to like 165 max sustained winds, 170. I think we're getting a Cat 5 out of this. But I still don't expect a landfall. Guys, this storm is closed off very well. The things that could affect it are there's a pocket of dry air, upper level dry air out here especially. Dry air doesn't affect a closed off circulation like this. That looks really nice. You've got like 88 to 90 degree water out ahead of it. Low shear environment. This front's going to be moving out. No land interaction. I mean, I think this thing is... Again, I said this yesterday that I thought it'd become a Cat 5. They upgraded this today to become a Cat 4 from a Cat 3. They almost never project Cat 5. I don't know why, but I think we'll get a Cat 5, yeah. I got you 3 more followers? Heck yeah. We're also missing a lot of data because of weather cuts. They haven't really affected. I mean, we've already gotten our reconnaissance flight out here, so I don't. Hurricane season. The biggest thing that weather cuts affected were some weather stations across the U.S., especially some. We lost some good weather balloon locations. A lot of the data and information we get from storms out over the, MDR, tropical Atlantic, Western Atlantic before they get close to the U.S. is satellite based, and there's been no satellites deactivated because of the cuts. So really, they talked about doing one less, basically spreading out the Hurricane Hunter flights, the Hurricane Reconnaissance flights, instead of doing them every 2 hours, doing them every 4 hours or something like that. When it gets close to shore. We haven't seen the impacts of cuts this hurricane season. So.
New information.
We could see it if we get. We could see it with some landfalling storms. Again, they're talking. We could have a little bit less reconnaissance flight information. Reconnaissance data is the best data. When they drop those barometric pressure readers into the storm and we get all that data back, that's the good stuff that we want. Updates on Invest 98L. Is that our one? That's our one in the Gulf, right?
New information. This severe thunderstorm warning has been updated.
Oh, nice blow up of convection there. But this thing's running out of time. It's not going to be much. It's going to make landfall probably as a depression. Let's take a look. Yeah, here's the latest models. Making landfall right around the southern tip of Texas. Only one model brings this thing up to a tropical storm. The rest of them keep it a depression. Post-tropical. Yeah. Not even getting maybe even down to 10 millibars. So nothing to worry about. It's going to bring rain into southern Texas, though. Some rain showers. You've had worse thunderstorms. Let's get the latest update on this GFS run. Forecast model. There we go. Oh, the GFS, is it breaking apart the storm? There it is. Still has it. Falling apart, though. Still a low pressure system here. Interesting. We'll have to see what happens with that. You could actually get this becoming the main system. Don't worry about it curving and being drawn from the heat and moisture on land. Yeah, that wouldn't happen. I just think that high pressure is gonna split like they're expecting. What, are high pressure to the north? Radio just comes in with the random Detroit Lions, baby. If it goes further west, is it going to hit Puerto Rico? A small chance, small chance. I think Puerto Rico's still looking safe. This thing's going to start cutting north here in a little bit. Is there a chance it'll hit the States? Yes. Pretty small chance, but there is a chance. Correct. What's going on with our severe weather right now? Okay, I was like, not much. All right, let me just take another look here. Why is there a severe thunderstorm warning back there? All right, we're looking good. I'm a public adjuster. Is Florida going to get hit hard? Likely not. Likely not going to get hit at all. Carolinas has probably the highest chance of being impacted, but it's still a very small chance. As I said, this storm is likely to get very strong. I do think that we'll get a Cat 5 out of this Category 5 hurricane, but I do expect it to stay offshore. I do think we have a lot of stuff going on behind it out there in the MDR, and this would be more slightly concerning to me, especially if you get developments farther south than Erin developed. Any software you recommend?
A new severe thunderstorm.
I mean, I use Radar Omega and WeatherWise. They're both really cheap for all radar and satellite stuff. Could he get impacts as far as Bucks PA? Again, that's way too far out to know. We're not even in that realm yet. Again, same thing with New York, guys. This is too far out. You guys see where you are? Up here? This is where this is. This this storm is almost in a different hemisphere. So, I don't even think God himself knows that answer. So it's going to be busy. I think the second half of hurricane season will be busy just like it was last time. When does hurricane season typically start? June 1st to June 1st to November 1st, actually, I think. Why am I always say December 1st. No, yeah, to November 30th. It's not December 1st. It's November 30th. Whatever. Same thing. It's whatever. Whatever. December 1st, November 30th. Yeah, sorry, not November 1st. I always say though June 1st to December 1st. Why wouldn't they do that? June 1st to December or November 30th sounds way worse than June 1st to December 1st. Joey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate you. Is it coming to Puerto Rico? It'll likely stay north of Puerto Rico. Just keep your eye on it. We don't want to southerly shift, but right now Puerto Rico is looking pretty safe with the latest model consensus. Yeah, but the 1st to the 1st sounds better. Nothing changes from November 30th to December 1st. I guess the complete months make sense. Hopefully not many major hurricanes for Florida. Hurricane? Yeah, I mean, the populated areas of Florida have been on a drought. We did get 2 up in the Big Bend last hurricane season, though. Danielle, appreciate the follow. Might get off here in a little bit. Tomorrow, when you wake up, we will likely have Hurricane Erin. I think we could even see this thing become a Cat 2 tomorrow, honestly. Maybe even a major hurricane tomorrow. Feds, that probably won't happen. Yeah, I appreciate you guys being in here. Again, I'm back posting content every day, streaming every night. I'll probably be streaming 5 to 6 nights a week. I'll probably take 1 or 2 nights off every now and then. But yeah, I'm still in my kitchen. Because none of my furniture is here. So, yeah, it's really annoying. But hopefully the movers decide to get here. You know, it's taken them like 3 weeks to move my stuff from Philly here. It took me a day for me to drive here. Yeah, I'm back. It sucks. I've been streaming late because I have to put my kids to bed in the other house where we're staying right now. And then I drive over to this one just to do content and stream and work. And then I'm going to drive 15 minutes back to go to bed. But I'm back. I'm going to be posting every day, streaming every day as well. And if our furniture gets here this weekend, then all I'll have to do is walk downstairs to get on and stream and not drive across multiple cities. Yeah. It looks close to Puerto Rico, yes, but it's a pretty compact system right now. Again, outer bands I think are likely. Some strong outer bands are possible. Probably likely in Puerto Rico, but a direct impact, no. Things can change, yes. That's why I say, especially if you're in, some of these islands down here, pay attention. Pay attention. It's called the cone of uncertainty for a reason. It's not called the cone of absolute certainty. It's the cone of uncertainty. You see what I did there? All right, I'm going to go get some shut-eye. And when you guys see me on stream tomorrow, I'm predicting we're going to have a storm with 105 mile per hour sustained winds, 120 mile per hour gusts. Yeah, located just to the northeast of Charlestown. Okay. 105 sustained. 105 sustained, 115 to 120 gusts. When I get on tomorrow, I will post an update on this in the morning, like I did today. Another update tomorrow morning. I appreciate you guys. Anyone who gifted, followed, subbed, was just in here asking questions, interacting. I appreciate all of you helping the algorithm. I like doing this. Like I said, I'm back. I'll be posting every day. I'll be streaming every day. If you do sub, it's only $2.99 a month. If you do sub to my TikTok, you get access to my Discord. Bunch of weather enthusiasts in there. I'm in there every day. Everything is updated in there every day with what's going on weather-wise across the entire country and the tropics. And over on YouTube, if you become a member, same thing. You get access to the Discord. Just make sure you link your YouTube and TikTok to your Discord, and you'll get right into that Discord. You guys are awesome. Mods, you're the best. I think regardless of if I get my stuff or not, we're gonna have a meeting this weekend. But I appreciate you guys. You're awesome. Greatest mods in the world. Everyone have a great night. And TGIF, it's Friday tomorrow. Let's go. See you guys.